on that. See, that you had a full story. It's kind of hard to say what's really going on in someone's home or what
Right, but
lifestyle
that's
they
what I'm
have.
saying. That's what I'm saying. I wanted him to tap into that a little, expound a little more on that because that is a perfect example of ruthlessness. But there's a story
Not
behind
really.
it.
It depends on that you have the information.
That's what
The
she
three
just
Yeah.
people, three
said.
people.
You still there,
Mm,
Black?
did I finish?
That's what she just said. Good grief.
What's the problem? See, that's the problem right there. Okay.
Well, he's not speaking out on it right now. I know he's a trucker. He's probably, who knows what he's
What are you
going through.
talking
I'm
about?
speaking up.
We talking
I'm
about
speaking
Black
up.
Casper when he
Oh,
mentioned being with a woman for 10 years. We're talking about ruthless stories, and he talked about being with the wife for 10 years and like that. So I just wanted him to expound on that. But of course, I would like to hear man is you can definitely expound on, your thoughts about being with
What
someone
I'm
for an
saying,
extended amount of time.
it depends on the situation because your mate may know what's going on, but the guy on the side may not know what's going on, the whole story. So it's a lot of different things going on. Or the other guy could have been married to somebody and be gay.
Oh
You never
Lord.
know.
Well, he did
But see,
mention that he
I'm
knew
back,
she was
y'all. I'm back.
married. He knew she was
I'm
married.
back.
Okay, good. You back. Good. You can speak for yourself.
I can speak for myself. Hoo-hoo. What y'all talking about? I must have missed it. I was on the phone. I'm sorry that it took so long, y'all. You had a important phone call and everything. Just catching up on a old friend that I ran into and everything. So, yeah. What was y'all saying though? I'm sorry.
So you had spoken about the relationship that you were in for 10 years with a married woman, and I said that that's a perfect example of ruthlessness. I feel like that's a very bold move, or space to be in. So I wanted you to just kind of expound on that a little more, but it definitely, in my eyes, man, this doesn't seem to agree, but to me it does. It shows some examples of ruthlessness to be involved with someone knowingly, knowing that they're married for an extended amount of time. 10 years, I just feel, is a long time.
Yeah, I can definitely take y'all through back to 1997 to 2007. Um, Um, I kind of met her at one of my jobs. I was working at that time, fast food, which is Church's Chicken, and her husband. She had 4 kids, 2 boys and 2 girls, and she used to always come get me. And I'm a young guy, no kids at that time, and she just I was attractive and to her and she just, only thing was about sex. It wasn't, but then another thing is that she used to get jealous when I try to talk to other women. I'm like, you married and all this. We just a sex thing. It was just a sex thing for those 10 years because she used to come get me and try to run me over with a car and all that stuff. So we was hanging out for years. And let me see, well, let me see, 94, I was 20. So I was 25 at that time. So she used to come get me all the time and take me to her house, where her and her husband resigned at. One time, her husband came home early and caught us. Caught me. She hired me in the closet. It was a walk-in closet, and then after that, we still continue on. He already knew he was dating. He was cheating on her, and she was cheating on him with a white girl, and she was cheating on him with me, a young 25-year-old at that time. So, after that, it was just like I was trying to get her to leave her husband. She kept saying she was going to leave him. And she kept putting in my head, I'm young, 25, believe in that. And just stuck in there, but ended up catching feelings, for being with her. was good sex. Young 25-year-old. Um, so we just continue on. She used to come pick me up from work. She picked me up from the house different times. She knew what time he went to work, so she'll come get me when he leaves, and we'll be there with the kids, with her kids. And she was pregnant also at that time too. She had a baby. She was pregnant with her fourth child. And then, we just continue on all them years after that, from 1997 to 2007. And then that was
That was ruthless.
it. It was. She was trying to run me over with a car. I'll try to move on with my life. She wouldn't let me move on, with another female. Because every time she see me with another female, she try to run me over. She gets, in the feelings. She had feelings just like I had feelings because she wasn't having sex with her husband no more. um, because we was having too much sex, so she didn't really have time for him. She was mainly focused on me. Um, and after a while, her husband kind of was seeing that. That's why he snuck home. Got off, came home early in quarters because he already knew something that she was not. She wasn't having sex with him no more. So, so he happened to pop up, and she was protecting me. She jumped in front of me because we was trying to fight and all that stuff. Um, but I stand my ground and everything. But 25-year-old young boy, he was in the service. He was in the army. He was a lot bigger than I was. So she was too. She was bigger than I was. She was a big girl. She wasn't. She was a thick girl. I was a skinny guy, like I am now. Um, but yeah, that was definitely ruthless during those years. I was risking my life, and I took a chance, and I wasn't thinking about that at that time at 25. I was just thinking about her because I got my feelings involved with her, and that was that, man. It was a tough journey in those 10 years that I dealt with that for 10 years with her.
All right. Well, there you have it. You answered my question. That's what I was curious to know. Like, if he knew that you all, or if he had a situation going on, if it was something, so it was something that he knew that you all were dealing with each other, and
hmm
he had
Yeah, he
somebody else
yeah
on
he
his
he
side.
kind of had a feeling because of her. She wasn't having sex with him, and she used to tell me when he asked for the sex, or she'll communicate with me, say, oh, he's trying to do this, stick it in on the side, or this and that, while they in the bed. Or sometimes she says she'll go lay in the couch, and she was watching that pattern. But over here, you cheating with a white girl, and so that's the reason why she was doing the same thing, because of he was cheating with a white girl. And so I end up being that guy that I'm sleeping with her. um and also, in my young days, I had 10 girlfriends too. And this is back in my 20s. um I used to lie to all 10 of those women, through my young days, teenage days. Young guy again. um and I was all, because I felt like one wasn't enough for me. you know my stamina was high. And I just, one wasn't enough, two wasn't enough. It's just go on and on. So I had to lie to each one of the women's, and then I had to of course you had to celebrate and spend time with them, and spend money and all that with all those women, because you had to tell different stories with all different women's. So, but I learned from my experience in my life, my young days, and I regret. But later on down the line, luckily it didn't kill me or put me in jail, and a lot of that stuff came back later on down the line. Stuff started happening in my life. I was wondering what was going on. What did I do? What did I do wrong? So I realized the things that I was doing to these women is breaking their heart. Um, and didn't have feelings for him. It was just like I didn't care. I was like Bill Bold, just didn't have no feelings, no love in my heart at that time. It was because my dad left when I was 10, and my dad didn't raise me. My mom didn't raise me. The streets raised me. So um, so I just pretty much raised myself. Being on the streets in Philly. Um, and then I moved to Texas in '94. And then yeah, and you know how that goes when Texas spread out more than the city. You have a lot more chances when you're dealing with women's in Texas compared to Philly. So, but yeah, that's the story on that part of it.
Wow, I didn't know that about Texas. I think I learned something new. Whew. Anybody else want to chime in on that one?
I
Thank
want
you.
to, so that is a lot. That I mean, that's yes, I have emotional questions about the having the 10 and then by not being raised by your parents, wondering if some of that sexual energy was because of that. So what happened to the drive, the 10 woman drive when you had to, when you decided one, did it go away with age or did you, was it like what? I'm confused. And
Well,
I wanted to know what happened to that energy. Was that energy having anything to do with your childhood and it just went away, or did age take it away? Because if you go from 10 to 1, that 1 can't meet that 10. I'm wondering like what happened. And then the other question was, you're saying the lady didn't have sex with her husband for 10 years?
no, she didn't. Well, we was together for 10 years, but of course, they stay together. So she was telling me she'll call me and tell me that he be trying to have sex with her and stuff. But then after a while, he started picking that up, like, oh, if you ain't having sex with me, who you having sex with? So he just realized that okay, she might be having sex with somebody else. So that's when he came home early and popped up and caught me there. Um, and that went on for years, but it still continued on even though he found out about me. It would still continue on having sex. And the 10 women, it was started with one, and it just started going one, two, on and on. And I started meeting different women, lying to them, tell them what they want to hear, basically. um, my sex drive was so high. I have a high sex drive. And so but I was using protection. um and on some of the women, not all of them. um but yeah, whew, that was my teenage days. So it was a challenge,
I
through them
thought you said
years.
you were 25.
Well, the 25 with the married woman, but before
Oh,
then, the
oh,
10 women, I was in my teenage days.
oh, well,
Yeah, I was in my teenage.
boys. And when boys are teenagers, that's all they think about anyway.
Yeah, yeah, my sex drive back then as a teenager, I was high. Unknown caller. Even when I was 25, it was still high, and it's still high now. But I have more control of it now. And I understood what I did. It was wrong, and I paid for all those broken hearts. And sometimes, and the reason why I say that is because I try to date. I finally found the woman that that was there, right. She was the right type of woman for me, and she ended up breaking my heart. Like it came back and bit me on the butt, and I cried. I cried. Um, I cried for that when that happened, because I felt bad because I realized what happened. What did I do? Um, and uh, and that's what I realized what happened. Through my past life. How I did these other women. So anything you do, no matter what it is, bad, good, it's always gonna come back. It's always going, no matter if it's don't come out that day, that month, that year, But you could be having a good time in your life, and then those things pop up that you've done in your life, and I regret from what I did to them women's, and I wish I would have settled down with just that one woman at that time. But like I said, I wasn't raised by a man, um, so I wasn't. My mom, she had 6 kids. There's 6 of us, 4 boys, 2 girls. So we was basically on the streets, So we was just out there, and but I had to learn. But I learned over the 2030s. Um, I still was cheating in the 30s. Still was cheating in my 40s. Um, and now I'm 52. But I don't look my age. So when people see me, they don't realize that I'm that my age now. So but all the stuff I've done, I had to pay for all that what I've done and through those years in my life. So I'm just putting out there that anybody, the young lady was saying what happened to her with the guy and all that stuff, and you see how it backfired on him. So those
Mhm.
things do happen.
Who?
Karma, it does come back.
Who?
Believe that.
I asked
Oh,
you about your
really?
emotions because I saw a show it's some time ago